and Kornheiser. Good hair day, don't you think? Good hair day.
To go back to the drawing board.
So what's the weather like in Chicago?
No clouds in the sky, 71 down here near the lake. Like that?
What
do you got?
Did you go out and play 9 this morning?
No.
Really?
Work to do that.
Really? I don't believe that.
You got a hurricane bearing down on you?
No, that's south of us. We hope everybody is all right, and we hope everybody is all right.
Everybody. The Carolinas.
Absolutely. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Yankees are struggling. Triple G goes after Canelo, and Steve Young joins us for 5 really good minutes. But we begin today with the Thursday night football game, Baltimore at Cincinnati, in a division game. Both teams won on Sunday, but the Ravens won very bigly. They put 47 points on the Bills. Joe Flacco threw for 3 touchdowns without an interception. Wilbon, do you expect to see these same dominant Ravens that we saw on Sunday?
Of course not. The Ravens were playing a completely toothless, hapless team of Buffalo Bills. No. And I don't care if the Bills were in the playoffs last year. Right. They look like the Cleveland Browns of last year so far this year. So, no, I don't expect to see that. I don't expect the Ravens to put up 47 or 49 or whatever the hell it was. I don't expect them to just trounce the Bengals. Look, the Bengals often undermine themselves by doing the dumbest things in the league, but the Bengals can play. They can move the ball. They did last week. They scored their own points. They won on the road. So I expect a close division game. What about you?
Well, my thinking is the same as yours. These are essentially 2 defensive clubs more than offensive clubs. So I don't think we're going to see all that amount of points. What I do find interesting is this, is that on both these teams, there is a quarterback whose time may be running out in that particular city. In Joe Flacco in Baltimore and Andy Dalton in Cincinnati after playoff blunders by Andy Dalton in recent years. So they're almost fighting for their jobs. And there are 2 terrible numbers that I want to point out to you. And one of them is Flacco in Cincinnati in his career is 3-6 with six touchdown passes and 13 picks. And he's never in his career thrown consecutive games with 3 touchdown passes. And Andy Dalton in prime time is 5-13. Yeah. So, I mean, if we saw 2 very big offenses last week, we could regress to the mean this week, and it won't be that good.
Yeah, I think Dalton should be and maybe will be a little bit better in prime time. But that's about what the Ravens and Flacco ought to be in Cincinnati. That's what they should be.
Yeah.
3-6. That's what it calls for. So, Tony, and by the way, I think you could see a lot of numbers up. I just don't think defenses are going to rule the day in today's NFL. So I think Dalton and Flacco are going to put up a lot of numbers, though not 47.
Yeah, I'm going to take Cincinnati close in this one, and my fearless prediction is that at least one Cincinnati guy gets thrown out for targeting, and I know you agree with that.
I do.
The New York Yankees lost again last night, and the Oakland A's won again last night, so the Yankees' lead for the first wild card position is down to just 1 game. Worse, the Yankees are 5-6 in September and batting only .194. Both these teams are going to make the playoffs and play each other in that exciting 1 game. Do you think it matters where that game is played?
Well, if we trust history, no.
If you look at all
because
of
the road team is something like 7-5 in those games. The only one that stands out to me
7-5.
is the Cubs went to Pittsburgh and did this 3 years ago to start their run. They won the single game in Pittsburgh. So, no, I will say this, Tony. I think that Oakland, there's no question that stadium is a pitcher's ballpark. If you're the Yankees and you want to swat them out and play the way you did most of the summer, when you had one of the 2 best records, they don't have that anymore. You want to be in Yankee Stadium because they're not just going to swat out 213-yard home runs in Oakland because that's going to be a pop fly to mid-right field.
I don't know. Of all the major sports, I tend to believe that the home field in baseball is the least advantageous.
Because it is.
So I don't really think it matters. It matters in the sense, can Oakland sell out its ballpark? They don't usually do it. The Yankees, are going to do that. I think that in games like this, and you've made this point before, particularly in the 1 game, great pitching really matters, but neither team has a great starting pitcher.
No.
So that doubly makes it not matter to me where this game is played. The wild card for me is Aaron Judge. The Yankees are not in a tailspin, but the Yankees, I think, were plus 39, something like that, when Judge played. He's now missed 45 games, and they're plus 5. they could, and they could really use Aaron Judge. He's an enormous difference, and they don't have him at the moment.
And he should be in that lineup. But they scored about the same number of runs without him as they did with him on average.
They haven't won as many.
They haven't won. I mean, the Yankees and the Cubs are the two teams that are they look like they're just trying to limp to the. Earl Weaver was there about momentum.
Starting pitching.
That's right.
Yeah. By the way, we have this notion in American sports that if you're the wild card team, the horizon is unlimited for you. But only one out of 12, the Giants, I think, in 2014, won the World Series coming out of this.
So let's go from the greatest dynasty in American sports, the Yankees, to a team many people could think could be starting a dynastic run. The Seattle Storm swept the Mystics to win the WNBA championship last night, and a very familiar face, one belonging to Breanna Stewart, is at the center of this latest championship. In fact, this is Stewart's 5th championship in 8 years of college and pro ball. And the way she dominated this series is leading some to ask whether Seattle's win last night is the first of a string. Now, Tony, teammate Sue Bird is 37. So you have to wonder if Stewart can lead some sort of takeover of women's basketball.
See, I don't think of her as Wilt. I don't think of her as Kareem, but maybe she is. Her record is incredible. Her record is Michael Phelps. Her record is Edwin Moses. She won a high school championship. She won 4 straight college championships and was the most outstanding player in the finals 4 straight times. She comes into this league. She's the MVP of the league this year. She wins the championship. She's the MVP of the championship series. I mean, you say, who is that? Michael Jordan? Who's done that?
Well, who's done that? Nobody exactly, but I'm surprised you left out the name Bill Walton. Okay, I mean, you start to think, okay, here's somebody that can sort of win on all these levels and seems to have the help that maybe Bill did, the good help that Bill didn't have. I will say this, Phoenix is an equal, okay? But we don't know how long Diana Taurasi, who's only a year younger than Sue Bird, I think they're 37 and 36, they played together all that time at UConn. I mean, Phoenix has got an equal team, and they've won, I think, 3 championships in sort of their own recent history. So I don't know if it's dynasty, but the trade off back and forth between those franchises, and Phoenix still has Ricky Griner. So there's a force there too, Tony. So I don't know if he can lead a takeover. So it was ironic seeing Gino Auriemma sit there last night and watch his players just dominate at every level.
But let me get to this, because this morning I read a list of the most recent champions in WNBA. And I think 9 of the last 10 were from the West. I'm going to go back in time a little bit. I don't know if women players do this. I always sort of thought that maybe the best woman player ever was either Cheryl Miller or Diana Taurasi. Do you remember when Kareem said to Milwaukee, "I'm done here. I got you championship, and now I want to get out of here." Can Breanna Stewart say, "I want to go home. I want to go to New York, or I want to go to Connecticut"? And that changes the entire dynamic. Does that happen in that league?
Well, that's what not yet, Tony, because the money is not there to make people do things like in all of men's sports. But you're asking if she can do a LeBron. Wherever she goes, that team becomes the favorite.
Elena Deladon said, "I'm done in Chicago," and now she's in Washington.
So it wasn't money. Well, it was family.
Whatever it is for Breanna Stewart, if she says, "I'm out," on Saturday night in Las Vegas, there will be a rematch between Canelo Alvarez and Triple G. Their first fight ended in a draw. Both fighters have turned to insults to hype this one. Triple G has said of Alvarez's positive test for PEDs, and I'm quoting here, "Pharmaceutical experts have determined that it was doping and not contaminated meat. There were injection marks on his hands and on his arms. All over his body you could see injection marks," unquote. And Alvarez responded to that by saying, quote, "Those are the kicks and screams of someone who is drowning. Those are the excuses that they are making because of what is coming on Saturday, which is a loss," unquote. Those are great quotes. What are they showing you on this fight?
Tony, I can't wait to see this fight. Look, it's a great fight. You and I grew up on this stuff as kids. It's part of the reason why we wanted to be sports writers. When we were sports writers, writing every day, the fights were the thing we wanted to fight each other to get to Vegas to cover a big fight. Or Atlantic City in your case for Spinks or whoever that was, Mike Tyson. So just to have the fight, I love the hype of it. Yeah. I love that these two guys seem to have worked up a healthy dislike for one another. People are into this. We only have like one of these a year. I just want to enjoy it. I don't care who wins.
Yeah, as you well know, these fights start too late for me, so I'm not going to buy the fight.
But you got a man up on this one. You're going to watch Tiger versus Phil I mean, come on.
I am going to watch this. So if this fight started, if it tipped off at 8 or 9, I would buy this fight.
11:30, big fella.
The reason I would buy this fight is because they are exciting fighters. And the last fight, they don't have to do this. They don't have to try and insult you. Now, maybe it's real. I have no idea. I'm probably, that Saturday night, I'll probably still be watching hurricane coverage, of the little red and purple ball getting close.
Oh, baby, hey, baby, oh, baby, look so good. Oh,
closer and closer and closer to the coast or something like that. But I would want to watch this fight, wouldn't you? Well, you're gonna. I would want to.
I am going to watch this fight. What are you doing? This is not like Floyd Money Mayweather, where you plunk down your money and you're angry 6 minutes in because you know Floyd is not going to engage in an action fight. These two guys are going to fight. Stay up and watch it.
I have to confess that I love the phrase contaminated meat. And I wonder how the Mexican ranchers feel about Canelo always saying, I ain't contaminated meat. Yeah. Let's take a break. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers missed practice again today, and we will ask Steve Young what it's like to play quarterback on a sprained knee.
We'll also ask him whether Matthew Stafford should take seriously the Jets' claims they knew all the plays that were coming down the pipe.
Can't they start these things at a more reasonable hour for people?
No, you got to start it at a reasonable hour where it is, not for your consideration.
Why? Why? The best thing about the NFL season beginning is that we get to welcome back Steve Young to the program.
Yay!
Steve, let's start with this. I don't know if you had this kind of injury. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But can you describe what it must be like for Aaron Rodgers to play on that knee?
Yeah, I mean, whether it's a sprained knee or sprained ligaments or a broken bone in there or something, I mean, it's going to take 30 days to heal, at least. And so if you're going to try to play weight-bearing, not only is it painful, it's just so limiting. Because you go to throw, it takes your whole body to throw a football and to rip it. Now, Aaron Rodgers can do a lot with just his arm. He can flick it pretty well. But there's still half of his game is getting out, getting away from the rush, and making plays down the field. That will go away. And so now you've got to call plays that say, out of the huddle, hey, ball is coming out of Aaron Rodgers' hands. No wandering around, give him 2 or 3 seconds, and that's going to come out. And that just limits the things you can do. So it's tough. It's kind of like riding a bike one-legged. You know what I mean? Like, you can do it, but you're not going to get a lot of momentum.
All right, we know the Packers could use that extra leg from Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers probably use 2 legs from Le'Veon Bell. They're not getting. There's a report from Maurice Jones-Drew that some of the Steelers' criticisms about Bell's holdout made him livid. Steve, when you heard all of that back and forth, those comments, what did you think?
It should make him livid. I mean, you talk about a locker room. It's a tender, tedious, sacred thing. And if you have everyone together, you got everybody working together that can solve their own problems. And we're talking about this great team solve their own problems. They don't create their own problems. Somebody has a contract dispute. Yeah, you might be upset. You might actually take it personally. That Le'Veon is risking the team and going into the season, but you cannot break, because if you do that, Le'Veon Bell's he might come back next week. And now what happens in that locker room? You don't think he's going to be upset about it? And now you've got to heal all those wounds, and maybe they never get healed. When you challenge somebody when they're going out, it's kind of an unsaid rule, right? You let somebody go and make their deal. And you just, as a player, you deal with it. You support them. And when you don't, you break rank, and you're going to say in the locker room, we don't, all these things about another player. That just sets up for not just trouble today, but trouble in the future. And I've always wondered about this Pittsburgh locker room. I always wondered about is that they're a great team. They should be more explosive. Is this locker room part of the problem? You got to wonder.
Let's move to Matt Patricia and Matthew Stafford for a second. If an opposing player for the defense knew what was coming, and you were the quarterback, would you believe him? Would you do anything about it? Would you say, here's what's coming, stop it? Where would you be on this, Steve?
You don't want to hear that, because it's a perception issue. The idea that the rest of the country now says, and opponents say, oh, the Lions, we got them figured out. Because everyone leans in now. It's a predatory lead. And so you don't want everybody leaning in thinking that you don't know what you're doing. And now you have to go press them back and spend the time to get everybody back on their heels a little bit. It might be true But it doesn't matter. It's perceptually true because somebody had the gall to say it after a game. That's painful. It's like telling a quarterback. I could tell that quarterback was scared. You heard guys say that after a game. He looked scared. Nothing's more brutal. If I was a defensive player, I would say that every week about the quarterback, win or lose. Hey, he looks scared. Just to get things riled up because the perception really does matter.
As somebody who was on the wrong end, the receiving end, how do you feel about the whole body weight penalty, which means it seems insane to me, but you had 280-pound guys laying on you. What do you think about this penalty?
If you hit the quarterback hard, there will be a flag. I finally decided it doesn't matter how you do it or what you do. If you're gonna, I saw some form tackles in preseason. Form tackles on quarterbacks penalty. So it's just the fact is that head referees are saying you cannot hit the quarterback hard. Figure out another way to take him down, and you better be nice about it. Because if you're not nice about it, the flag is going to come out. And I've now seen defensive linemen get close to the quarterback, and you can see him trying to the calculus of trying to figure out how do I take him down without getting a flag. And it's making a big impact on how quarterbacks are bold. They have to worry.
Is it bad for the game, Steve? Is it bad? I mean,
what? Do you like more scoring? Do you like 50 to 48? Do you like 5,000, 6,000 yards in a season? Do you like watching OBJ? And that's the league. That's what people they don't care what's the quality. They just want it competitive. And so if it's competitive and a lot of offense, I mean you can see over the last 20 years. Just look at the statistics of quarterbacks. Look at the rules. Look at what they're doing in defenses. How much it's more difficult it is. They want more offense and they want their quarterback safe because they do not want backup quarterbacks coming in. Deshaun Kaiser coming in on a first Sunday night game. They want Aaron Rodgers. They want Aaron Rodgers hurt. So whatever, if body weight penalty, how about just, hey, it looks bad penalty? That's really good.
You hear that, Tony?
Well,
do you hear Steve Young, Hall of Famer, saying that?
No,
I've been telling you for 20 years.
I hear that, but I also know that you're a mastodon and you just want football to go back to the Middle Ages. We'll get
15 yards, he hit him too hard.
Stop it. We'll get you out of here on this. First, let me compliment you on the phrase predatory lead. That was sweet. All right. If and when Tom Brady ever declines, how will we know? What would the precursor signs be?
You'll start to see some inaccuracy. Balls that he gets, especially out wide or long, and all of a sudden the balls will come up short because your arm just doesn't stay alive, and you can't rip the ball the way you used to, and you're just little things. I mean, he'll be able to protect that because he's so smart. And it's not about mobility. We know he's not going anywhere. He hasn't gone anywhere for 10 years, so it's not going to be about whether he's moving around very much. It's really in that arm strength, that arm liveliness. And people are trying to say, hey, wait a second, he's not, that ball's coming shorter. They used to be able to throw that ball, or even over statistically, Tony, over a season, you say, you know what? He used to throw his completions plus 40 yards or more, 30 yards or more. They're down 30%. And then you can start to say to yourself, I hadn't even paid attention. Something's off.
What a great pleasure to have you on again. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you much, Steve.
Hey,
appreciate it.
You guys are the best. I missed you.
All right, let's take a break. Still to come, Drew Brees has some very hard praise for Baker Mayfield.
David Wright makes an announcement about his future in baseball, Tony.
I know you like the notion of getting penalties for just looking at somebody badly. I know you like that.
You know this happened for 20 years. 15 yards, he hit him too hard.
Yeah.
Come on, go play golf.
Happy time, people. Happy 28th birthday, A.J. McCarron. What's the deal with this guy? He won 3 national championships at Alabama. Drafted by Cincinnati, he backed up Andy Dalton. That's legit. But Cleveland was said to want him, didn't get him. Buffalo signed him, and then mysteriously traded him to Oakland, leaving themselves with Nathan Peterman and Josh Allen. Mike, wouldn't the Bills have been better off with this guy?
Well, they might have been better off at least keeping him to find out, right? Given what happened last week with the Bills?
Happy anniversary, Drew Brees. On this day 9 years ago, he matched the Saints franchise record with 6 touchdown passes. Brees is a 6-foot native Texan, as is Baker Mayfield, whose Browns play the Saints on Sunday. Mayfield not scheduled to play in that game, but Breeze really likes Mayfield and says of him, quote, I think he can be a lot better than me, unquote.
Here's how much I believe that on a scale from 1 to 10. -30.
Happy trails, David Wright. The longtime Mets third baseman conceded today in a tearful press conference that his baseball career is over. Doctors have told him his back will not get any better. Wright said he will play in the Mets' last homestand in a couple of weeks and then hang up his spikes forever. Wright has not played at all in the last 2 years, played only 75 games the 2 years before that, but in his heyday, David Wright strung together 5 straight seasons with a batting average about 300 and was an all-star 7 times.
Yeah, there was a period there, Tony, and obviously the team's success reflected it when he was the leader of that team and one of the best players in that team. It's just sad to see injuries just reduce any great player, and in this case, David Wright.
The analogy I would make in New York is he had a string of years similar to what Don Mattingly had for the Yankees. Not as good as Don Mattingly, not as good, but the Mets could say, this is our guy. He's steady, he's productive all the time. One omission, Leonard Fournette says his hamstring is improving. He's optimistic that he will be able to play against the Patriots on Sunday. That's going to be a good game. That's worth watching. Big finish. Todd Bowles says he can't tell you after one game whether he has... He has a quarterback in Sam Darnold. He'll tell you after 100. Is that fair?
God, common sense and a smart take. I hope people listen to it, but Naomi Osaka will endorse Nissan and make a reported $8.5 million per year with Adidas. For the investment?
$8.5 million a year? Yes, I would certainly think so, yes. The San Francisco Giants have lost 11 straight, their longest losing streak since 1951. What gives?
Willie Mays was a rookie that year, hitting 150 with runners in scoring position will do that to you.
Wow.
Two-time Norris Trophy winner Eric Carlson traded from Ottawa to San Jose, Senators to Sharks. Break it down, Tom.
Okay, so I think he goes to a better climate, but a lesser hockey city. I don't have much more than that. Last one, the Red Sox won their 100th game last night. How many are they going to end up with?
111. Write it down. 16 games left, 11-5. There you have it.
I'm writing it down. We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. And I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. We're back on ESPN tomorrow, you knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcast.
So I left my phone in the house today. I have no phone. I feel really weird and lost.
You feel like 1993, don't you?
Yeah.